All right, Wolfpack Nation, welcome to part 2 of our football 2021 season prediction. So make sure, if you haven't already, there is a $100 Red and White Shop gift card on the line.
Woo!
And you may say, well, what's that? What are you talking about? For those who don't know already, make sure to check out in the description below the rules for the giveaway. So with that being said, we're going to head right into our next game, which is Louisiana Tech. So after Clemson, whether win or loss, whatever it is, we got Louisiana Tech before heading into a bye week. So, Macon, I'll hand it off to you for prediction.
I think up front, I think State gets this game. Although I think this could be a sneaky, you don't want to overlook it kind of game. I think Louisiana Tech is going to be. I know I saw some predictions have them as like a 7-8 win team this season. I know they're going to be pretty. They get returning all of their offensive linemen. They've got basically. I think it's a little bit of a combination of quarterbacks. Luke Anthony and Aaron Allen are their quarterbacks. So I think that this is basically, for me, I think it's going to be a solid, a good win, but I think it's going to be something that we don't need to overlook. I don't think they would if we were to, based on my prediction, if they were to lose to Clemson, I don't think they're going to, overlook getting the next win at home against Louisiana Tech. So I think this is going to be a game that State can win, should win, and will win.
And I mean, for me, the biggest thing I have, and I have it triple underlined in my notes, is you cannot overlook this game. This is a trap game for sure. Obviously heading into the bye week, and obviously a lot of State, players might look at it and be like, oh yeah, they're like, let's get to that rest week, and obviously you just came off of a tough game against Clemson, whether you win or lose. You're going to head into Louisiana Tech easily having the possibility of looking over it. Mm-hmm. But again, I think for me, it really can speak again. This is another big moment for the maturity of the Adoran football program, that win or lose against Clemson, if you can go against Louisiana Tech and bounce back either way and focus and take care of Louisiana Tech, I think that speaks a lot, again, to the focus of one game at a time. Take it one game at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for Louisiana Tech, they returned 10 starters on the defense side of the ball, which is big for them. But again, they averaged only 316 yards of total offense per game last season, which was 117th in the nation. So, and there's not much that looks like they're really improving on the offensive side. So, I think for us, if you can score, 20, 25, whatever, 27 points, I think that should take care of it. But again, obviously we want to score way more than that, but I just don't really see that they're going to get more than 3 touchdowns against our defense. Unless all of this is assuming no major injuries. But there's no way you could possibly predict that. So yeah, I put this as a win. State's put as 90.5% per FPI, and I think that they take care of it and move and head into the bye week. Go ahead, Macon.
No, I was going to say, I think this is going to be a game too. I think you can see State score a good amount of points. I know their defense struggled last season, but again, like I mentioned in episode 1 of this schedule prediction, the linebacking core is their strength on this team. So I think State's going to get this game. I think they do. And if they do, based on the way our predictions, yours happen to line up with mine in this regard, that's a 4-0 non-conference season. So that's a solid. I think, these non-conference games matter. I think beyond the Mississippi State game, this one will be the toughest one I think we're going to play for a non-conference.
Which doesn't say a lot, but again,
it doesn't.
It's just more just helping again for the longevity of the season.
Sure.
So before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. So now I think is maybe when Macon and I will have our first difference of opinion. So obviously with Boston College, because this is really, for me, just absolutely a coin toss. Both teams are so even. In terms of returning production, in terms of style of play, both State and Boston College are very similar this season. It's almost scary to say, but so Macon, I'll hand over to you. Hear your prediction.
So for me, I think I'm actually not as concerned about this game personally. I think I do think State gets this win. I do think they do, and the reason why I think that, is their offense was great last season. They, Jeff Halfley has been a great hire at least in year one, kind of like Justin Fuente was in year one at Virginia Tech. Not saying he's going to have the same track record um, as Justin Fuente, but Jeff Halfley's done a great job turning around, very quickly Boston College, making him seem like, whoa, hey, we need to take notice of this guy. But their quarterback, Philip Jakovic, man, that dude's legit. For those who don't know him, have been watching some of his games, I went back and watched some of his highlights. That guy is a heck of a quarterback. And they've got a North Carolina native wide receiver. Their number one receiver is Zay Flowers. I remember. I think State kind of had their eye on him. I don't remember how that recruitment went around. I don't think they pursued him too hard, but he is doing really good right at Boston College. I say all that with the offense, but their defense is. I don't know how their defense is going to be.
Well, they're actually returning 18 starters combined between offense and defense, so they're actually only losing 4 starters between offense and defense.
Well,
So
I just don't see their defense being too great. That's just what I think about it. I think State's going to be able to score. I think this game will be dependent on our defense limiting Boston College's offensive game plan. I don't know I think at this point this will be game 6 in this season. I think you could see us have some injuries potentially along the way. I think you're going to see people have the playbook will have opened up a little bit more here, particularly at the Clemson game. And then I think you're going to see people maybe trying to find some of our weaknesses. I don't necessarily. I think you could see people maybe try to run the ball on us a little bit more. But I think Boston College seems to be more of a, at least in year one with Jeff Halfley, more of a passing team. So I'm going to go with, I think State gets the game. Although I do think playing on the road against this team is going to be interesting because State's not had a great track record against Boston College on the road, although lately they've done better than they have, in the last 10, 15 years. But
yeah,
I do think State gets the win. I think this game is going to be a closer game than people think it is.
Well, for me, I mean, because Boston College, those State fans again, who you can't think of Boston College about in terms of like using the Steve Adazio days as, oh, well, that's who Boston College is. No, that's not who they are anymore. Again, this literally is going to be a battle for me of who's going to be second behind Clemson in the Atlantic Division. So again, Boston College is no joke, and they're going to be no joke for a little while. Which is, overall for the ACC is great. Again, it's great to see names like Boston College really start to be competitive, which is great. But yeah, for me, so I pretty much did it as a coin toss, and I'm going to give us a loss for this one. Not necessarily thinking because I don't think we can win. Obviously, I think that we have what it takes. I see possibly again with that there's a lot of momentum right now in the Boston College football program, and I'm not 100% sold. But again, I really do think it's a coin toss. So for me, I just took it as a loss for now in terms of my prediction. But it's they return a lot. Again, I just look at that again. They return 18 starters. They're going to return a lot of players that had a lot of game experience from last season and really showed not only the ACC but the country that okay, Boston College is no joke now. So for me, I'm putting it as a loss. But again, it was really really tough to pick. But I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be an exciting game, and I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. Sure. That's our first difference. If you look at the FPI, the game's essentially a 50-50 game. They have Boston College at a 54% chance to win the game. State's at 46, basically. So, yep. This is our first divergence. I get divergence in opinion, Leighton.
And I'm gonna go and say maybe with Miami we're a little different, which is the next game. So at Miami. So again, you go from at Boston College to at Miami. So again, you're kind of hitting that tough stretch now. At Boston College, at Miami, and then you hit Louisville, and then you got Wake Forest. Again, you're hitting a little bit of a tough stretch here. So Miami, the game that obviously hurt our hearts last year with the 44-41 loss.
Oh man.
But what a game it was. So, Macon, I'll hand off to you for the 2021 Miami prediction.
So my whole prediction on this game is based on a healthy De'Aaron King. He's got a torn ACL. For those who don't remember, the question I think is going to be: is he healthy? And if he's healthy, this will be game 7, game 7, I believe. I
Mm-hmm.
think I don't know what his time frame is, but I want to assume he's healthy here. Maybe had a few games under his belt. If he's healthy, now granted, I know that Derek King's weakness, as good as he was against us passing the ball, I think is going into that game, he probably struggled throwing the deep ball, and then against us, he just exploded. I think going down to the Miami game, I think with a healthy Derek King, I think that we may fall short. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna. But if there's no Derek King, I think we get the game. I think we get to win. However, if I'm gonna base it on an official record prediction, I'm gonna say we. I'm gonna say we get. I'm gonna say we get the win here. I'm gonna say we get the win here.
You switched on me.
Yeah, no, I think we're gonna get the win. I don't know if Derek King's be too healthy. Golly, now even as I'm saying it, I'm like torn on it, man.
Stick with it,
Yeah, I
man.
don't
Stick
know.
with it.
It's
Stick
all to
with
me
one.
depending on if Derek King's healthy. I think actually no, I got to go back. I don't think State wins this game. I don't think State wins the game. I think it's going to be tough, man. I think they're just going to have a hard time.
All right, so we're locking it, and Macon
I say it's an
says we're
L.
gonna
It's an L.
lose that game. Well, for
As I'm
me,
saying it, man, it's just like
well,
nah.
don't. Hey, well, hey, for me, State fans, don't you worry. I got us a win here. I got us a win at Miami again. It's for me because like kind of taking it through for me for my season. So basically, for my prediction, we lose at Boston College, but I see a big bounce back against Miami. I see us having a chip on our shoulder because we see last year that it took a Herculean effort from De'Aaron King. Again, I mean, State fans don't even if you don't even realize how good De'Aaron King was against us last year, go back and watch him. I mean, he was unreal. I mean, for a guy who was mostly known for running the ball, he was throwing it unreal against us. I mean, he was NFL caliber throwing it against us last year. So I just see us going into that game having that big bounce back after a loss at Boston College, and with a point to prove here and get the season back where it needs to be. Obviously the biggest thing which is tough is that Miami returns everybody on offense for this season. So for me, I think that the biggest key is that offense needs to score at least 30 points in order to give us a chance to win. And for me, I think that with the offensive weapons that we have, with the depth that we have, and also too with the versatility that we have, I mean, I think that again, you got even just from a running back side, you got Zonathan Van Knight, you got Ricky Person, Jordan Houston, and then obviously now there's talks about Trent Penix being like a Swiss Army knife, kind of like a J-Sam level. So, I mean, just from the running backs, but not only also too with the wide receivers that you have so many different options that you can use. So for me, I think that we score enough to win this game in an upset because Miami is put as per FBI as an 82.3% chance to win. I say that we win this game to go 5-2 on the season so far. One other point as well I want to make though is that Derek King, for those who don't know, has played a total of 31 games in his college football career. So I mean, again, he is game experienced. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be an easy game to win. That dude's going to be the real deal this
Yeah,
year.
and
But
that's why I'm torn on it. If he's healthy, which
yeah.
I was, as you were talking, I looked it up a little report. I reported and said that he's been running around, sounds healthy, looks healthy. If he's healthy, I think if he's healthy and he stays healthy, maybe there's no issues moving forward. I think Miami could win the Coastal. I know everybody's like, "Oh, Carolina, we can get to that game," but I think Miami could have. They did lose Gregory Rousseau, that first round defensive end pick from Miami going into the draft, but
Mm-hmm.
man, their secondary can be really good. And you mentioned
Yeah.
Herculean effort, but you're also saying we need to score at least 30 points. So
Mm-hmm.
that's 5 scores at least. So I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
if that's, I don't know. I just think it's going to have to be. I think Miami gets the win here.
Well, and again, it's there's no doubt Miami is going to get their they're gonna do as they're gonna be a great offensive team, so they're gonna score points. But it's just a matter of can our defense limit them enough for the offense to win us the game. And for me, I think that from what we have on offense, but also too on defense, I think that we get a turnover or two, and we make the big plays that we need to on defense to win this game. And definitely, I see a big game here from Peyton Wilson. I think that he is going to be a big key to kind of shut down DR King, get in DR King's head. So, all right. So now heading on to Louisville, UL at home. State is put as right now is a 59.4% chance to win. So not necessarily, it's closer than I was expecting for sure. So, I'll hand over to you first.
You know, I think this could be. I mentioned that Louisiana Tech game early. This game maybe you don't want to overlook. I think this Louisville game is going to be tough, personally, and I think it's going to be mainly because Malik Cunningham, I think, is the most underrated offensive player potentially in the ACC. That guy was basically everything for Louisville last season, and they weren't great, but he's sneaky good. And you guys need to go check some of his highlights out. Malik Cunningham, their quarterback for Louisville, man, he's a good player. He's got a long ways to go to get to where his potential is, but his ceiling is so high. And I think, I was talking about the Boston College, and I said they're losing a lot of players, and late made that correction. I think I got my wires crossed with Louisville because I know they are losing a lot of players. One thing I noticed with Louisville, I think it's only going to come down to is containing Malik Cunningham. They went 1-6 when they had 3 turnovers during the game. So I think forcing turnovers against Louisville is going to be big. And I say that they fumbled the ball 18 times last season. They fumbled 18 times. They lost 12 of those fumbles, and they forced 13. They won 7 of those 13, but they lost. They fumbled the ball 18 times, lost the ball 12 times out of those 18 fumbles. That's just fumbles.
Wow.
So I think the defense is going to take a lot of pride in this win. And again, my prediction is I think State gets the win.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be looking at Malik Cunningham in a way kind of like, okay, he is the guy. We got to go in and shut him down. And I think they're going to have some other guys step up. Is it going to be their wide receiver, Jordan Watkins? Is he going to be the guy that steps up? And they just had Tutu Atwell leave, and Tutu Atwell was the main guy at the last few seasons for them. Who's going to be the guy who steps up for them? I'm trying to. The linebackers lose a lot of guys. It's who a lot. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I think State gets the win, and I think it's going to be fun watching the defense this game, in my opinion.
Our defense.
Our defense. NC State's defense.
Yeah. For me, I have this as a win as well. But basically, because really looking at it, so the biggest issue with Malik Cunningham last season was his inconsistency. Again, he showed big time moments and played well at times, but he also played very underwhelmingly at times as well. And so, because one of the biggest things as well that I kind of took, I immediately wrote down was I think that honestly that Malik Cunningham needs a lot of development. Because obviously the talent is there, but he just needs to work on the small details to be a really great college football Power 5 quarterback. And the big thing that stood out to me is that actually former NC State quarterback P. Thomas is the quarterback coach at Louisville, and this is his first year, and his first year being a full-time coach. And he's coaching at Louisville as a quarterback coach, literally the first time. And so that's part of what I'm thinking is because I just don't really know if first time coach quarterback and Pete Thomas again. Those
that doesn't instill much confidence. That does not instill much confidence.
It just it's not like Pete Thomas was an amazing quarterback. Now again, it doesn't really take an amazing player to be a great coach, but I'm just not really going to bank on it that you're going to trust Pete Thomas to develop Malik Cunningham into what Louisville needs him to be this season. So that's one big thing. And then the other thing I want to point out though is actually for those State fans who don't know, Louisville actually was the best pass defense in the ACC last year. They actually were ranked number one overall, only giving up 189.2 passing yards per game last year. So they're ranked number one in the ACC. But on the run side, they gave up 174 rushing yards per game. So for me, I see this game as being a kind of a break game for like Devin Leary takes a break kind of game where he just takes the ball and he hands it off to whatever running back, and we just run the ball, and and take advantage and try and limit as much of the ball being in the air as possible, just because they are so great in the
Yeah.
secondary. So for me, I have this as a win. I have this as a low scoring game. I see this as a quick game because I see a lot of running the ball on both sides, and I think State gets the win. So with that being said, so thank you all so much again for joining us here for part 2. Again, make sure to join us as we go to part 3, as we go through the last 4 games. And then from there, again, for those who may be a little bit confused, again, please make sure, again, if you are wanting to see the giveaway rules, they are in the description below. That being said, make sure, again, join us for part 3. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Check out all of our other great NC State content, and please follow us at Tuffy Talk Now. Also, too, to make sure you don't miss out on this awesome $100 red and white gift card giveaway. All right,
$100 at Red and White Shop, would be awesome. Kid in the candy
hey,
shop.
no kidding. So make sure not to miss out. Thank you all so much, and as always, go Pack.